And now for our next news special report.
In this report, we delve into a story that's not just alarming, it's a wake-up call for every American. Imagine walking through your neighborhood only to find the streets you once knew have become a den of drug activity right in the open. That's a reality for residents of the Bronx, where a subway underpass has turned into a nightmare. This isn't a far-off land. It's happening right here in our own backyard. We're going to show you the shocking transformation of a simple underpass into a haven for drug use and the devastating impact it's having on local families. But there's more to the story than meets the eye. What does it say about our city's leadership, our society, and the future of our communities? Stick around for our special report because you don't want to miss the eye-opening final thought on this escalating crisis. Before we dive deeper into our special report on the Bronx Underpass, a quick note on the importance of informed perspectives. Just like the overlooked underpass in our story, often critical news is overshadowed or ignored, and that's where Ground News comes in. This innovative app and website shed light on the biases of news coverage, like how we aim to expose the neglected issues in our city. Ground News reveals the political leanings behind each story, offering a comprehensive view of the media landscape. It's crucial, especially as we approach the 2024 election. For unfiltered news analysis, subscribe at ground.news/nextnews for a 40% discount. Support media transparency with Ground News and stay informed with the full story. Now, in the heart of the Bronx, a disturbing transformation has taken place. The Kingsbridge D-train underpass, once a simple path from one side of the street to the other, has become a ground zero for open-air activity. This alarming change has not only disrupted the lives of local residents, but also raised critical questions about public safety and city governance. Residents speak of a once normal underpass now resembling a scene from a dystopian novel. Drug users, described as zombie-like, openly inject substances in broad daylight, surrounded by spent needles and the notorious of their addiction. This is a sight that shocks the conscious, a stark contrast to the everyday normality of going to work or walking your child to school. And this issue has unfolded for years. Take this news report, for example, from 2 years ago. Watch.
All right, tonight, Bronxites living near Kingsbridge Road and Grand Concourse saying enough is enough.
They say the illicit drug use in their area has exploded, and there are empty syringes and needles everywhere. News 12's Faith Graham is there now. Faith, how is it out there tonight?
Well, Amanda and Kurt, it is not a pretty sight out here tonight. We have had several Bronxites call in to let us know about the conditions here by the underpass and to come out here for ourselves tonight and see it. Well, it is pretty alarming. We've seen open syringes, used needles, and people even injecting themselves right before. Take a look for yourselves. From day to night, this is the reality for Bronxites living near the Kingsbridge Road underpass along the B and D line.
We go through a lot because you don't know. I mean, they're walking with you. You don't know if they're going to hold you up.
Nilda Torres has lived in this area for 42 years. She says she sees people using drugs as soon as she steps outside.
That's their corner. Their corner is in that building where I live at and across the street.
Syringes, caps, and needles litter the ground. But Bronxites say it wasn't always like this.
Nothing. The same as not even 2 years ago.
Within this year, it got really bad.
Council member Oswald Feliz for District 15 serves this area, and for him, the issue is personal.
I've seen it every single day. I actually live right in front of it.
The shocking drug use happening just steps away from a playground and school.
We even found needles in the playground. Imagine a child thinking that it's a toy and potentially putting it in their mouth, as children do. It's not acceptable.
Felice saying fixing the issue has been an uphill battle, but recently closing one side of the underpass has been a huge help.
So we're going to be closing down the second side of the underpass, and we're also working with the sanitation department to make sure that they're truly enforcing the laws.
Now, this issue is more than just a local nuisance. It's a symptom of a broader societal problem. In a city as developed and resource-rich as New York, how has it come to this? How have we reached a point where such blatant drug use is not only happening but flourishing in public spaces? These are the questions that haunt the residents of the Bronx who feel abandoned by the very institutions meant to serve and protect them. Drea Michelle, a mother living near the underpass, encapsulates the sentiment. She now avoids the area entirely, fearing for her safety and that of her young daughter. The underpass, once a mere inconvenience, has become a no-go zone, a place where no one's coming to save you. Another local, T. Charles, echoes this fear. She speaks of the danger that lurks in the underpass, a space that she only traverses out of necessity. The presence of drug users and discarded needles has transformed her daily commute into a journey fraught with anxiety and risk. The problem extends beyond the underpass. Addicts in search of their next fix panhandle during the day, turning the surrounding neighborhood into an extension of the underpass lawlessness. As night falls, the situation worsens, with residents hurrying home to avoid an escalating illicit activity. Now, this descent into chaos is not just a failure of law enforcement, it's a failure of leadership. City Councilman Oswald Filas has been vocal about the crisis, lambasting the Department of Transportation for its inaction. In a scathing letter, he highlights the Department of Transportation's refusal to implement even the simplest measures to address the problem. And the implications of this are far-reaching. The Bronx night market, a symbol of community and local tradition, has been forced to shut down due to deteriorating conditions at Fordham Plaza. This is not just a loss of a cultural event, it's a blow to the community's spirit and cohesion. A spokesperson for the DOT claims awareness and a commitment to working on the complex challenges. However, the residents of the Bronx are left wondering when these words will actually translate into action. When will the streets be safe again? When will their neighborhood be returned to them? The reality of the situation in the Bronx underpass is a microcosm of larger issues that are plaguing our nation. It speaks to the breakdown of societal norms, the erosion of public safety, and the failure of our leaders to address the root causes of such problems. It's a story of neglect, not just of physical space, but of a community's well-being. But it's not just a story of despair, it's a call to action, a reminder that as citizens we must hold our leaders accountable. We must demand more than just lip service. We need concrete action and solutions. As we witness the struggles of the Bronx residents, we're compelled to ask, what does it say about the state of our society? How can we as a nation address the underlying issues that lead to such scenes of despair and degradation? These are tough questions, but they're necessary if we're going to find lasting solutions. Now, the Bronx underpass story is not just a local issue, it's a national concern. It's a stark reminder of the challenges facing our urban communities and urgent need for effective leadership and policy solutions. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe and join us in uncovering the truths behind the headlines and demanding actions for communities like the Bronx. As we conclude our report on the Bronx underpass, it's imperative to understand why this story matters, not just to the residents of New York, but to every American. This isn't just a story of a neglected subway underpass turned into a drug market. It's about the erosion of safety and community in our republic. When lawlessness takes root in our streets, when residents feel abandoned by their leaders, and when public spaces become no-go zones, it's a clear sign that our social fabric is fraying. The situation in the Bronx is a grim illustration of what happens when government fails to fulfill its most basic duty, to ensure the safety and well-being of its citizens. It's a wake-up call for all of us to demand better, to hold our elected officials accountable, and to actively participate in the restoration and preservation of our communities. The story matters because it's about the heart and soul of our republic, and it's up to us to protect and rebuild it.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.